Hey guys, I thought I'd take some time tonight to take a closer look at this radio I picked up recently. If you recall from part 1, this is a Ware B-1 radio chassis from around 1930 inside of a cabinet that appears to have been modified to hold it. This is certainly not an original B-1 cabinet. First, I think I will try to remove these screws and slide the chassis out. Looks like the speaker has been spliced in. I bet underneath this old cloth electrical tape there's just spliced wires there. Does not appear to be a plug. I think these wires go straight into the cabinet. And there's a volume control power switch down there that's, I think, attached to the front of the cabinet. Otherwise, I think it's all self-contained. The tuning dial and everything is actually part of the chassis. I removed all that electrical tape, and indeed these were just twisted together, so took some photographs and made some notes so I can hook it back up the way it was. And before I could slide this out, there's still something holding it in place. And I imagine that would be this one knob on the front. Let's see. It's got one set screw. Got a small screwdriver here. I should take care of that. I thought this was a wood knob originally, but appears to be Bakelite with a brass inset. I think it is the original though, because it looks a lot like the knob on the photograph of the Ware B-1 that I found online. Let's see. Well, it still seems to be stuck a little bit. Oh, there we go. No hidden treasures, but I can see that all the reinforcing pieces of wood here are gone. The rest of the cabinet's pretty sound though. I wonder if those were knocked off intentionally to make room for the front of this cabinet. I bet they were. It's too bad because it weakens it a bit. Let's see, they routed out stuff from the control there. And this guy. Yeah, definitely somebody spent a bit of time customizing this cabinet. Now, as far as what this cabinet is, I did discover that there's a label on the bottom. And I think take some of the mystery out of it. It says Ryder Furniture Company, Incorporated, Monticello, Indiana. And apparently it's a sample. And it was sent to T.B. Spruill of Sears in Chicago, Illinois in March of '38. Some details on the height and width and the finish. And date returned is blank. So I suspect T.B. Spruill hung onto this cabinet for him or herself, or gave it to a friend, or sold it, and sometime later it was retrofitted to hold this Ware B-1 chassis. If you recall, all of these tubes are dated December 3rd, '38, so 9 months after this cabinet was shipped out. So maybe that's when it was modified. Heck, maybe it was even modified to be a Christmas present for somebody. Who knows? What I do know is that it's unlikely that I'm going to find a proper Ware B-1 chassis to put this cabinet into. So I think my best bet is to spruce up this cabinet and put this chassis back into it. I'm hoping that after I strip this and sand this lightly, all these scraped initials will disappear. They don't appear to be that deep. Otherwise, yeah, there's a few dings here and there. A little wood filler will probably take care of that. And then need some different stains or toner lacquers, dark walnut, medium walnut, and so on. Probably make this look pretty decent again. Oh, I have to plug in these two holes. Maybe take some veneer and orient it such that the grain matches this angle here. Should be a fun little project. Now as for the chassis, well, got some debris in here. Plenty of dust and crap. A bit of wood. Looks like it's part of the cabinet. Let's see. Oh, there. Probably. I want up here. Like that. Yeah. Matches one on the other side. This was scraping before when I tried to tone it. Let's see. It seems nice and smooth now. Maybe it's scraping on the cabinet. Some nice smooth action. Still, I imagine it wasn't the easiest thing to tune in because there's no gear reduction or anything. It's just a direct drive. Alright, let's take a peek underneath. Wow, that's more impressive than I was expecting. Cool. I imagine these are the interstage coupling transformers. And they each are inside of a box made out of copper sheets that are individually soldered together. Cool. Hope I don't have to get in there and repair any of those coils. Otherwise, some really neat labels on these old parts. Aerovox condenser. Sprague midget condensers. Nice old dog bone resistors. Very colorful. I suspect there were some repairs done. Well, let's see. One, we got two wires hanging out here. Not sure what those are all about. And these capacitors, I suspect, are a bit newer. Just probably replacements. Looks like this was just looped on and soldered in here. These Sprague midgets might be replacements too. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask online about what vintage these are. I've never seen them before. Let's see, these wires, well, they go into this box. Oh, there's a label on it. I guess that is a capacitor. Ariston Lab in Chicago, Illinois. Red 4 microfarads, 600 volt. Yellow 4 microfarads, 600 volt. So, there should be 3 wires. 2 of them go to nothing. Maybe the third is still connected? Probably not. That's odd because on the schematic there only is one dual filter capacitor. I thought that would have been this big can cap that's up here. Maybe that dried out and they put this one down here as a replacement. That dried out. Or they only use it to replace one section of this can. Although this one still seems to be wired in. Nah, I have seen repairs before where they wire in the new capacitor just across the old one because it's dried out and it's failed in the open mode rather than shorted out. So radio would still work. Generally not the safest thing to do though. You should really disconnect completely an old capacitor. I was thinking that if this cabinet was a bit easier to work on and maybe it had been modified, that I would just go ahead and do a quick recap and try to fire it up. But given that this is there's a lot of original parts in here with nice labels and stuff, I think I'd better take my time, do a little more research, and try to restore this properly, like rebuild these capacitors, keep the old labels and so on. But it's nice to do a little exploratory surgery. Now I know a lot more about what I've got. I can ask around online for some opinions. Hopefully I could find a photo, or somebody's got one of these sets and they have a photo of what's underneath the chassis, and I compare it to one maybe that's completely unmolested, and see what has or has not been modified. Here, let's take a look at the speaker. Well, I knew there was one hole poked through because I could see the hole from the other side. There's another small one down here. Those both look like pretty easy repairs, though. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. Let's see. Great. Some of these are flathead screws and some are bolts. Somebody did some creative mounting of this speaker. I'll remove it so we can get a better look at it. Here's the speaker. It doesn't look too bad. Here's the holes that I could see busted through from the other side. This one has enough material there. I think I can just fold it back and glue it up. This one, the hole blown right through it and the material's gone for the most part, so I'll make a patch out of some kind of paper, coffee filters or something like that. Otherwise, seems to be pretty good. Looks kind of odd though. I wonder if this is maybe an old rebuilt speaker or something, because normally around the outer edge here there'd be some kind of leather or a different kind of material than the cone material, but this just is the same material all the way through and up over the edge. But hey, as long as it works, I'll take it. The old foam's a bit deteriorated in spots. I suppose I can replace that. And as far as that extra wire, I suppose it could be a center tap on the output transformer. A little exploring, ask around online. Otherwise, the speaker looks to be in pretty good shape. Interesting, it's kind of a spiral attachment. Well, there's this attachment there, and one over here, and another one over here. So 3 supports for the voice coil in the center there. I don't see a name on it anywhere. Well, I'm sure it was glued on here and it fell off. It's too bad. Don't know who made it. Alright, well, I'm not sure when exactly I'll get around to restoring this, because I know, based on some of the messages I've gotten, you guys are anxious for me to finish off this Philco 60, so I promise I will be getting to this soon. I got some great advice on how to rewind that open shortwave band coil, and I got a lead on a voice coil for the original speaker, and then maybe I can try reconing it. So rest assured I will get back to that. At any rate, I hope you guys enjoyed this look at this interesting radio I picked up recently. That's all for now.